on Saturday, literally seconds after the event ended, Dana White went on social media and announced the 300 main event. Why they didn't save this for the broadcast and then do it on social media too, I have no idea. I don't understand why these things happen. But he went on Instagram and announced that the main event for UFC 300 is, well, I can't do the big reveal now because you all know what it is. But you by now know, of course, that it's Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill for the light heavyweight title, which again is a fine main event and would be amazing for any card 301, 302, 309, 310, 315. It's fine. In fact, I can tell you with 1,000% certainty that it was slated to be the main event for 301. They announced on Saturday, May 4th, they're going back to Rio for a pay-per-view. The main event was supposed to be Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill, which I have to say, I know Jamahal Hill doesn't like me. I'm still confused as to what went wrong there. But I need to give him massive props. This guy tore his Achilles last summer. July. Most athletes are out for a year. And it's not really a super common injury when you're a fighter. This guy is coming back April. That's 9 months. 9 months later. With a full training camp and all that. It's not like he's just like stepping into the gym or stepping into the cage 9 months later. He's got to be training now. So that's very impressive. Massive props. I tip my cap. But he said it on Saturday night on the post show. This all came together yesterday, he said. According to Pereira's team, came together like 2 days before the announcement. This wasn't the top choice. I don't even know if it was the fifth choice. As I said last Monday, they wanted Leon versus Khamzat. And as Dana White said, and wasn't it nice to hear Dana White finally give Leon props? Because it wasn't that long ago they were removing Leon from the rankings when they were trying to jerk him around to fight Khamzat and do all this other stuff. Nice to see him finally get the respect and love that he has deserved since day one. They said they offered him 3 fights. Khamzat, top choice. Some talk of Shavkat, some talk of even Islam. He said yes to all of them. Never specifically said the names, but trust me on this one. Amazingly, Bilal not one of them. Now, I believe this is what I believe. If they didn't need a main event, they would have had Bilal and Leon as like the second or third title fight. If it was, 301, 302, 303, then Leon Bilal. And I expect the next title fight for Leon to still probably be Bilal. But man, what an indictment on how they feel about the guy. Not one phone call, and there he is in the front row on Saturday going 300, give me a call, when at that point it's already done. I don't know how you process that. That's tough. As I've said from the beginning, he deserves it more than Shavkat. He deserves it more than Khamzat. I get the Islam thing, even though no strong desire for it, but fine. Islam did it twice against Volk. He could deserve that honor too, I suppose. Should be Bilal next. Didn't call him? What the hell? That's tough. But as I said, the top choice was Khamzat. Can't get in the country. I don't know how they fix this. I don't know how you give Khamzat a title shot because he can very likely win that knowing he can't get in the country. How can you have a champion who can't fight in the United States, can't fight in Vegas, can't fight in California, can't fight in New York? You got to fix that first. That's going to hold him back. We don't even know why. Why can't he come into the country? But it's a problem. Because if it wasn't a problem, if it wasn't a thing, I think that would be on 300. Leon said yes. He was ready to go. Credit to him. Remember, he was in Aston Villa, December 31st, telling everyone 300. And at the time, I think he thought, all right, maybe Leon Bilal, co-main, third title fight. But when it became clear that they needed a main, then they had to go for the gusto. And they tried to do something big. And if anyone tells you, look, it's a great card. I have to keep saying this because people get all crazy. But a 300, a 200, a 100 isn't something that needs to be cobbled together or I understand where the fans who are upset are coming from. It feels kind of thrown together. It doesn't feel like the culmination, like the apex, pardon the pun, of something big. 100 was the apex of something big. Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir, the rematch for the heavyweight title, was gigantic. GSP was on there too, but it was huge. Bisping, Hendo, tough coaches, gigantic. 200. Now, the revisionist historians will say, oh, 200 wasn't it? It was a man. No. 200 was Jones versus DC. There was no bigger rivalry, and arguably still isn't a bigger rivalry than those two. Jones obviously got removed a couple days before, but that was the plan. You bring in Brock. You got Amanda Nunes against Miesha Tate. Miesha coming off that. Like, that felt big. This is a great card. It's an amazing card. But when you have a 298 and a 299 and maybe not that many A-plus superstars at this juncture, they're doing great. They don't need me to tell them otherwise. Look what they're doing in California. Look what they're doing every single stop. Because the brand has never been hotter. But it just feels like it's missing that je ne sais quoi at the very, very top. A friend of mine, Ant Evans, put it like this on Twitter, and I thought he said it perfectly. Like, the way they are booking now is like the game Tetris. Okay, which pieces can go where? And sometimes it works out perfectly. Pereira fighting in Rio is perfect. That's where he should be fighting. 3 weeks later, he should be fighting in Rio. That would be a massive deal, a massive homecoming. You put him on there. Maybe you put Pantoja on there too. Now you've taken him off there and you got to put him on this 300 thing. And now you're left with, all right, what do we got for Rio 3 weeks later? Not ideal. Now you can get away with it when the brand is super hot. You can't get away with it when you don't have this type of momentum and business and popularity and all this stuff. But don't tell me that this was the top choice. It's all great. It's going to do gangbusters. It's going to do amazing. But you need to know the truth. You need to know that this wasn't A, B, C, or even D. Amazing for Pereira. This guy 3 years ago is out of MMA, kickboxer, 2-division champion in glory, comes over, looks like he almost kills a guy in LFA, gets signed to the UFC, and has just been on a rocket ship, stumbles once against Izzy in his first defense, comes back, says, yeah, no problem, I'm moving up to 205, beats a former champion, and then wins the belt back at MSG, and now he's headlining 300? Superstar. Amazing. Good for him. Good for all involved. But the culminate, like, again, Izzy DDP was another one on the table. Those 3 Leon fights, Izzy DDP was on the table. My understanding was the timing just didn't work out for DDP. And I think that should still be the next title fight, but it didn't work out. I think Izzy was in, but the timing just didn't work out. A bit of a quick turnaround coming off of January. Not as quick as July to September, but the timing didn't quite work out. Original thought should have always been around this time last year, you announced Chandler versus McGregor. And you say they're going to be on The Ultimate Fighter, and then you say they're going to headline in April of next year at UFC 300. And again, it does feel a little weird that it's on, April and not July, it like 100, 200, but that's just the way the cookie crumbled here. That would have been the longest and best build to a fight ever. And now here you have both guys saying, why aren't we on this card again? Still don't understand what they're talking about with Conor. Yes, he's made a lot of money. So did, Floyd Mayweather was making over $100 million for his fights. He still kept fighting. LeBron James has made millions upon millions. He's still playing 20 straight All-Star games, all that stuff. Just because he has a lot of money doesn't mean he doesn't want to compete. But they're not putting him on. Your reaction, GC, when you saw this this announcement. And again, fine fight, great card. Not the top choice. Don't tell us the top choice. Not even the top, maybe 3, 4, 5. What are your thoughts on this main event?
It appears I'm in the minority. I'm
love it.
I'm fine with it. No, don't love it. Don't love it. Could have been splashier, but I'm all right with it. Alex Pereira is a massive star, and to have him fighting, to have Charles Oliveira fighting, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. You have star after star after star, former champ, current champs, littered on this card. I think it's a great card. I think the main event is fine. I'm kind of taking the Rick approach to it at this point. I would have been more disappointed if it was Leon Bilal than if it was Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill.
Fair. Part of you kind of wish, man, you're ruining the Rio main event to, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul here.
That is true. And also, it got revealed to me. I know you revealed it to Pizzi and them. It got revealed to me similarly on the watch party. And at first, when I heard Alex Pereira, my heart skipped a beat. I was like, what is this about to be? And then when it was Jamahal Hill, I was like, oh, all right. Yeah, it didn't I didn't jump out of my seat. I wasn't going crazy or anything, but like I'm not angry about it. I'm fine with it.
Rick?
I think most people are in that spot. I think most people recognize we're getting objectively a good fight, right? I think people are excited about the idea of Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill as a fight. It's a good fight. It's two guys who are really, are going to push the pace and the action, and you're going to get likely a finish. You're going to get a good fight out of it. But ultimately, it was expectation management. We were continually told that it's going to knock your socks off. It's going to be amazing. Just wait till we see what we have in store. And ultimately, is this a better fight than Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje? Is this something that you needed to put above it? No, ultimately not. Like this is not that fight.
We have some of those. I just want for the record, just so people know that you're telling the truth. We have a couple of headlines here, right? Of for people saying like, "Oh, it's great, this and that." Yes, it is. But when you have this from January 26th, Dana White promising jaw-dropping main event announcement, quote, "You guys can't handle the main event. We're working on a couple of different options. Trust me, the UFC 300 main event is going to be crazy." This is a direct quote from an Instagram Live. So when you put that out there, yeah, people like me could be like, yeah, this is great. But there are other people who are like, holy shit, it's going to be crazy? We're not going to be able to handle it? Do we have more?
This was the main thing.
This was the main, but he has said it. He has said it multiple times in different variations. That leads people to think Khabib Conor, GSP back, Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, and so I understand to a degree the deflated response, but
yeah. Well, I just think they couldn't get it done.
The only thing that really bothers me is not even that. It's just like I don't like when they have to. Take from here to put here. This feels like a Band-Aid. This feels like
coming together on the notice that it
even
did,
Jamal
right?
coming
Hill.
back so soon.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's also like this, like you said, this feels like it was down the laundry list of options, and they're taking from this card to put on this one, and it's just like both guys want it. Why is it not just Connor Chandler? That would have felt like just like the perfect bow on top of the UFC 300 card.
Imagine they would have announced it last March, and we'd have had a year build. Like Brock
so much
back
time for that to fall apart.
But look, it would have worked out. They're both ready.
That also would have been cool. But also from a promotional aspect of how this was announced, that was the most deflating thing to me.
Well, that's
like to not get a promo, to not get anything for you. We come off of a massive pay-per-view card just to be like, Dana posted on Instagram, and it's just like,
to me,
I don't want that.
Yeah.
To me,
that's a fucking promo.
That's what tells. To me, that's what is the clearest indicator of how they really feel about the fight.
Yeah,
is how it's announced. If it really was going to blow your socks off, if it really was crazy, if it really was as advertised, that's not how they would have announced it. That's all you can say about that.
Could have done the Jamahal Hill beating Glover in Brazil.
Oh, there's a great promo.
Pereira's in the corner, the stare down. There's that moment where they stared down.
Yeah, there's a great promo.
Like as they're like walking out. Even if Alex Pereira was just looking at him, but he just looks so intimidating. It looks like he was like, I'll be back for you. I'll go handle business at 185, come up to 205, and I'll be back for you. Like you could have made an incredible promo. Just something.
I'm just glad we don't have to hear what's the 300 main event.
No. There's still one fight. There's still one fight.
I don't care.
What's it going to be?
No, there's still one
fight.
What's it going to be?
Don't care.
Leon Bilal? Is he DDP?
But here's my thing about the
Does Bilal get someone else?
I'm going to say the last thing about the main event.
Bilal Luque 3.
Is this substantially better than Leon Bilal, or is that like equivalent? To me, they feel pretty equivalent. I don't see why Leon Bilal was such a
No, it wasn't. No. I think people would have been upset
in the side and something to avoid when this feels similar to me. No?
Yeah, I don't disagree.
To me, Pereira is just such a superstar. Yeah, I think he's just so massive that it's fitting.
Yeah, and I think stylistically, this one's going to be entertaining, right?
Yeah.
That's almost a guarantee. So, look, I respect the effort by UFC and by Dana White to say we're really trying some crazy options and we're going to go for it. But that's expectation management coming back to bite, because this was not the one. This was not the crazy fight. Good fight though. Mm-hmm. Good fight. And now that we're done with this UFC 300 main event thing, we will move on, and the card is awesome, and everybody will get excited about it.
The card is sick. You cannot look at that lineup and not tell me that is like, if it was not UFC 300, people would be jaws on the floor how good of a card it is.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.